It is said all urban legends are rooted in some truth. And perhaps that's why the story of Fairfax County's Bunny Man is so strange and so frightening. There are several different versions of the Bunny Man, and as we will see in today's video, all lead to the same frightening conclusion. Sometimes truth is stranger than fiction. The legend of the Bunny Man begins in the early 1900s. There was an insane asylum deep in the forest between Clifton and Fairfax Station in Virginia. Eventually, the asylum closed and the residents boarded a bus en route to Lorton Prison. However, on the way there, the bus crashed and many of the convicts escaped. All were caught except one, Douglas Griffin. As police searched for him, they soon found a trail of bunny corpses that were disemboweled, with some hanging from the then Fairfax Station Bridge. For months, the police looked for Griffin, but could never find him. Apparently, he wore rabbit pelts to stay warm during those cold winter months. Finally, on Halloween of that year, some teenagers were attacked and killed. They were gutted and strung from the bridge, just like the bunnies were. Today, the legend says if you visit Bunny Man Bridge at midnight on Halloween, you'll be punished just like the teenagers were on that fateful night. Although the aforementioned origin version is the most popular, it's certainly not the only one. One story involves a man who was being experimented on, and something went terribly wrong, turning him into half man, half bunny. With so many different versions and theories on the origin, one man decided to research the subject to discover how this legend came about. Fairfax County historian Brian A. Conley began extensively researching the Bunny Man after receiving numerous inquiries on the story. His findings revealed several key things. First, the original legend just discussed appears to have several factual flaws. For one, no insane asylum ever existed in Clifton. However, Conley's research revealed some fascinating evidence about some disturbing and strange stories involving a man dressed as a bunny. On October 19, 1970, U.S. Air Force cadet Robert Bennett and his fiancée were visiting relatives on Guinea Road in Burke County. After coming home from a football game around midnight, they parked their car in a field and were planning to visit an uncle who lived across the street from where they parked. While they were sitting in the front seat with the car still on, they noticed something lurking outside the back window. Seconds later, the front passenger window was smashed, and there was a creepy figure standing near the broken window. Bennett and his fiancée screamed, and Bennett moved the car from parked to drive and floored it. While this was happening, they heard the man screaming about trespassing, saying they were on private property and he had their plate number. As the couple floored it down the road, they found a hatchet on their car floor. After entering the police station, the police requested a description of the man. Bennett was adamant he was wearing a white suit with long bunny ears. However, Bennett's fiancée disputed this and said the man did not have any bunny ears, but it was wearing a white capote of some sort. They both remembered seeing his face, but in the darkness, they could not ascertain what his race was. The police returned the hatchet to Bennett after examining it. Just 10 days later, another sighting occurred on the evening of October 29th, 1970. Construction security guard Paul Phillips approached a man lingering on the porch of his newly home. Phillips described the man as wearing a gray, black, and white bunny costume, about 20 years old, standing about 5 foot 8 inches, and weighing around 175 pounds. Strangely, the man began chopping at a porch post with a long handed axe, warning Phillips that he was trespassing and that if he came any closer, he would chop off his head. Both incidents were investigated by police, but no suspect was ever identified. In the coming weeks in November and December, more than 50 people contacted the police claiming to have seen the Bunny Man. It's not quite clear how many of these might have been influenced by the first two incidents, but nevertheless, there were some strange reports. One incident involves Bunny Man allegedly eating someone's pet cat. There are various theories surrounding who the Bunny Man might have been in the 1970s. Some believe that it was an angry resident trying to scare off new people to the area. Others believe it was a mentally disturbed man who dressed up like a bunny when he hunted. Paul Phillips described the man as being young, in his 20s, which would mean he would still be alive today. However, no one has ever came forward, and for a small town, it's quite strange there are not some unofficial suspects. Perhaps we will never know the identity. Still, though, the thought of entering the woods and encountering a man dressed in a bunny suit with a hatchet is a terrifying one.